Welcome to the Internet Money Podcast. I have my good friend Lucas. He is the founder at Innovative. I'll need you to spell that out for us real quick, Lucas, because that is a complex pronunciation.
Yeah, innovative or innovative, Inovativ.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining the podcast. Real quick, before we get too deep into your company, tell us a little bit about how you came into this internet money space. Like, what was your background?
Yeah, dude, my background is very diverse. Starting from the very beginning, my first job was a prop maker for movies and TV shows, and I did that for a long time. And then I was studying journalism in college, and I was a tech journalist for 10 years. And then from there, I started moving into a little bit of freelance work on the side while I was doing that. So I was doing a bit of ghostwriting books and things like that. Articles for a few people, and then I was kind of like, did the typical thing, you go on Twitter and you start looking into this stuff, and I was like, what's this copywriting stuff, and I got into like the copywriting side of things, and learned a bit about that, and then kind of quickly realized like, oh, copywriting is cool, but it's like, kind of more so a skill you combine with something else. It's not like it can be your main thing, but like it's more valuable if you combine it with something else. So then I previously, like when I was younger, dude, I was constantly doing shit. Like I was like trying to like run clothing brands and like websites, all that sort of stuff. So I was like, well, I can make websites, but I started doing like landing pages and stuff for people. So I actually then joined Client Ascension, where I wasn't really fully sure of my offer yet. I didn't know what to do. And Dan Fazio screamed my offer at me in my onboarding call. He just turns the camera and he's like, you sell landing pages and VSLs. And I was like, okay. And so bought a bunch of books around like VSL writing and more kind of copywriting stuff. Just started building web pages for people, and then within about 3 months I'd grown that agency to about 20-25k a month. And then I joined CA as the landing page coach, because at the time they didn't have anyone teaching that. It was one of the things that they kind of had as something you had to do, but there was no one actually giving direct advice on that. So I kind of took over that role. And now I'm the head expert coach at CA. That's what I do now. I manage all the other expert coaches at Client Ascension, and I'm running Innovative, which is it's a new offer, but kind of the best way to describe it as it's gone on is more so been kind of like in a creative e-com growth partner. So we do conversion rate optimization. We build new landing pages and product pages. We build full e-com funnels. We do email marketing and static ad creatives.
I love it. All right. So we touched on many things here. So let me roll back here. Okay. So how did you get first introduced to Money Twitter?
Yeah, it was probably just like around that time. Actually, you know what? I think I follow Fazio. I think that was actually, I think it was Fazio that introduced me. I think I had been like looking online, and the first two guys I followed were obviously towards writing. So it was a guy, Charles Miller, who, this is funny actually. I went to look him up the other day, and I remember his @ was Wrongs to Right. Turns out that's now Dakota's. And it seems that Dakota took it. Obviously, there was a transfer or something like there, and then that's Dakota's @ But Charles Miller, he did like online writing. And the first like info product I ever bought was Charles Miller's freelancer guide. That was like a 65-page PDF. And it was really good. It was like the basics of like everything to get started. It taught the basics of cold email, like outreach, how to like kind of formulate an offer, like all that sort of stuff. And I read the thing like front to back like repeatedly. And then I followed Fazio and a few others. I looked at who he was following, and I kind of followed the same guys he was following. And that's kind of was my first real kind of intro. Just from looking, like I went from like find online writing jobs in Google, to like going on Twitter and like looking into whatever else is doing there. That's kind of how I first got into it.
Yeah, it's so funny that you mentioned Dakota Robinson, because I always think he should change his name, because I can almost never find him, because I always have to remember it's Wrongs to Right. It's just not his name. He's tough to find. So I feel like when I first got on, it was like I was introduced to Dan Coe, and I was like, he's a little too philosophical. And when I wanted to learn to write, then I looked at Dakota's page. So it's funny that everyone has like a very similar background. So you go from copywriting, you're unsure of your offer, you join Client Ascension. Tell everyone real quick, what is Client Ascension, because people may be unfamiliar.
Yeah, for sure. So Client Ascension is the best way I often describe it to people that kind of wouldn't like know much about Money Twitter and stuff. It's like a agency and business accelerator is the way I describe it. It's like if you are starting or you are running an existing agency, we will give you the framework and the kind of outline to follow to scale that agency to 50, 100K, 200K a month. That's kind of the whole idea behind it. We teach everything from cold email outreach and lead generation, social media content creation, developing your website and your landing page, writing and scripting and recording your VSL, everything kind of needed to really set up your business online and kind of develop your presence there and start signing clients.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting topic, because it really does, Client Ascension really does walk people through the creating of an agency. So let's real quick talk about, if somebody's new to this internet money space, what are kind of the steps in order to an agency that Client Ascension walks you through?
Yeah, for sure. So like if so say someone joins Client Ascension brand new, they want to start an agency, but they've got nothing set up kind of already. Personally, the first thing I would focus on is the skill. You have to have something that you can actually like do. We don't really focus so much on teaching fulfillment inside CA. We talk about how to hire for that, and we talk about kind of where to find resources around that. But you really should come in with some sort of skill you're already sort of selling. You kind of pick a niche, pick something that you're kind of, I always say pick something you're already kind of naturally attracted to or good at or you've got experience in. Like I said, like I picked landing pages because I've been building websites since I was like 13 or something like that, so I knew how to do that. Then I was just learning kind of more so in detail what that looked like and the skill behind that. So you have some sort of skill or something you want to learn. You in Client Ascension, the first thing you'll have is you'll be assigned what's called an SSC, a student success coach. So there's 4 of them inside CA. One of them is my friend Andy from college, and he's very, very good at it. And basically, their job is to guide you through the program. And the program, we've got, I think, over 400 videos in our Kajabi course program now. We're actually working on cutting that down because there's a lot of information in there. But we help you set up the first steps really are actually developing your offer. So you'll go to Dan's call where he helps you kind of develop your offer and figure out what you're going to be actually selling to people. Your SSC helps you with that as well. Then you'll go to creating your landing page in VSL. VSL, for anyone who doesn't know, is a video sales letter. It's you kind of describing what you do and selling it to explaining why it's attractive to your ICP and kind of selling it to them. Then the landing page comes next, where you develop your landing page. It kind of reinforces a lot of what you talk about in your VSL and kind of brings people through kind of a customer journey that kind of explains why they should work with you versus others. And then your outreach starts. So outreach, the main tool that we focus on really is cold email, sending emails to other businesses offering your services. And then we also focus on social media outreach, LinkedIn and Instagram and YouTube and Twitter, of course. And that's kind of it. Then from there, it's really about helping you with the operations side of things. We help you set up how to hire people, how to get your infrastructure set up, what a sort of kind of agency business looks like on the back end, and when you're actually when you sign a client, what that looks like and what you should be doing and kind of the steps you should be taking in order to be organized and to fulfill for them as best you possibly can. And then outsourcing work. It's a point that I actually make a lot. So if anyone from CA is listening, you probably need to hire more. I find a lot of guys come in, they still have the freelancer mindset where they're doing everything. At the beginning, you're going to be doing that. That's totally fine. But really, the difference between an agency and a freelancer is that you're focused on getting clients and driving sales. The fulfillment side of things is handled by your employees and people that you work with. And that's what allows you to scale really to kind of the next level above what a freelancer can kind of do.
Yeah, and I just want to say this we won't make this a shill fest for Client Ascension, but I highly recommend joining, because I really took I didn't really like many coaches online would be like, you're going to build your agency to 100K a month by never sending cold DMs, only working 4 hours a day. And they're like, to be honest, that's just absolutely false. Like, it's going to be hard. It's simple roadmap, hard implementation. It's like if you want to lose weight, right? You have to burn more calories than you take in. Simple formula, hard implementation. So it's really helpful to have people helping you along the way. So let's talk a little bit about how you became the head coach of the coaches.
Yeah, just to actually reiterate what you just said there, that's one thing that always annoys me is that thing you see online that's like, I'm working from the beach. I only work 4 hours a week. I don't do things. I'm like, that's complete bullshit. We never will say to someone this is going to be easy. As you said, simple, not easy. It's like the framework is there, but we will always say you're going to be working your ass off, to kind of get this up and running. It slows down then obviously when you get to a certain stage and you kind of, as I said, like you're involved in fulfillment, things like that, but you really do need to work hard in this space. But becoming head expert coach. So like I said, I was the landing page coach, and I also do a bit of the content coaching. As you can see by my background and my setup, I was a Twitch streamer, if it wasn't obvious. So I kind of focus a lot on the video content and kind of what that production looks like, and editing on all that side of things. Then I was doing that for a little bit, and that was going well. And near the end of last year, basically Andre came to me. Andre is one of the founders of Client Ascension, and he was like, hey, we're thinking of this new role. We've got a lot of coaches. I think we have nearly 20 expert coaches in CA now. Andre was very heavily involved in kind of managing them on a day-to-day basis, everything from listening to students, getting feedback, giving them ideas for content, even just the calendar schedule for their weekly coaching calls, and it was quite a lot. So he was like, there's a lot more that can be done here to support the coaches and to kind of improve the student experience, and he just doesn't have the time to do it. So he asked me would I kind of step in, and I tend to talk a lot. I talk to everyone, and I kind of make friends with everyone. So he was like, "This does make sense because everyone already knows you, and you've like talked to all the coaches already. You're like good friends with everyone." So now my kind of day to day, I help manage everything from the calendar to speaking to students, seeing what sort of issues they're facing, talking to the coaches about like potential ideas for like new content or something that can do to help them, listen to what the coaches' problems are, if they've got any issues that arise or anything that's going on. And I also kind of work on general program improvement. So like one of the things that I found when I was talking to students was a lot of them were saying client Ascension is great, but there's so much content and it's so tough to kind of get through, and we don't really know where to start. So myself and Andy sat down, we developed this Trello board. It's your first, I think, 35 days inside CA. And it literally tells you what to do every single day. Every day should take about 3 or 4 hours on average and of work. And we kind of break it down that you can just go through that. You can just tick off each thing that you've done. And then by the first 35 days, you should have already done your offer, done your landing page in VSL, started your cold email outreach, and done some sales training, and be ready now to kind of, keep growing with the agency and going from there.
Absolutely. So people know you as the landing page guy. So let's talk a little bit about landing pages themselves. So what do you see as a big mistake that many coaches, consultants, agency owners are currently making on their landing page?
Yeah, for sure. So funny, like it's a landing page thing is kind of like you notice trends with it, right? So like for a long time there, it was just these like funnels that looked like they're from like 1990, and like they work really well. It's the thing, like the people use them because they work. Like I would say, like a lot of the students come in, they're like, oh, I don't know how to make a really nice looking landing page. I'm like, the client Ascension one is like a VSL and a big red button. That's it. And then the next page is just like a VSL and like just screenshots of results, So like you can get away with kind of super basic stuff. But nowadays I have noticed that people are kind of getting a bit more sophisticated with it, especially as the tools have become kind of easier to use. So like I'm a big fan of Framer, the website builder, and that makes it honestly very easy, I think, to make very nice looking landing pages. I mean, I saw you did a great job with yours, Jax. I think that was built in Framer, and that was phenomenal. So yeah, it's one of the big mistakes that I think I see a lot is people spend a lot of time talking about them and what they do and why like they're so great, and you want to have that for sure, but they don't really they never talk about what their prospective clients are possibly facing. Like what is the pain they're going through that would make them need to work with you? Like what is the problem you're actually solving? Especially in the SaaS space, I've talked about this, that I think that if you just like did a copywriting offer for just SaaS web pages, you could be like a millionaire in like a month, because every one of their fucking headlines is literally just like, we increase brand synergy. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, it's just a CRM, like just like tell them it's a CRM. Just be like, this is a great CRM. We do good shit with it. It'll make your pipeline better. But yeah, I think that's the big thing, is one, like headlines that don't explain what you actually do, and two, talking about all the features you have and not your prospects' pain points or benefits of working with you, like how you actually solve their problems. People have this idea in their head that they have to kind of gatekeep what they do, and that they should keep it kind of like their method secret and shit. In my experience, the opposite works even better. If you just show them like the whole process of what you do and how detailed it is and how much work is involved, they're going to look at that and go, I'm not going to do all that. Let's get this guy to do it. They'll just pay you to do it. That has worked for me significantly better than anything else. But yeah, that'd be the main kind of problems that I see people doing these days with their landing page.
It seemed like you were alluding to at the very end there, kind of like a magnum opus or like a large lead magnet that talks about how you do your service. Would you recommend on your landing page you link them to, say, a magnum opus or a lead magnet, or go directly to book a call?
Both. So lead magnet is really good. I think that you should definitely have some sort of email capture in there, right? So sign up for a newsletter, sign up for a free lead magnet, sign up for something. The free the kind of get a full breakdown of our process, I think, is a really good lead magnet, and just have some sort of email capture inbox in there so that you can actually see who's downloading it and who's interested. Then you can follow up with them in an email afterwards. The primary focus usually is going to be to book a call, but I think that definitely is very important to have a kind of some sort of lead magnet in there. The other thing is that on the page itself, I'm a big fan of flowcharts. I think just having a big ass flowchart that like is as super detailed as you can make it, as complicated as you can possibly make it, is what really kind of drives people to be interested and want to know more and know how you would do it for them specifically. So I always suggest that as well.
Yeah, Figma really triggers my inner autist where I get in there. Like I planned out flights and like long trips in Figma because it's like, hey, we'll go to this hotel. It makes it so easy. So talk a little bit about that flowchart. Do you recommend they use like Miro, or you just map out the whole service delivery? Talk a little bit.
Yeah, so like I love Figma. I think if you want to make a really pretty one, Figma is definitely the go-to. You've got kind of way more freedom in there. But if you're just like, if you've never made a flowchart before, you're kind of like awkward with it. Yeah, Miro is good. I think Miro is great. I use that a lot for a lot of my internal flowcharts that I'm just doing between my teams and stuff like that, because I was like, it's just easier to throw it up in Miro and just send a link afterwards. And like you can just save it as like a Miro to save it as like a PNG with transparent background. Then you just drop that image on your page and you're done. I also I'm a big fan of AI, and I would highly suggest like using AI to like help you map out your process to be as detailed as possible, because you're going to forget stuff. You're going to kind of forget like oh yeah, I forgot I also set up the domain and I add the DKIM, all this sort of stuff. So like just going to ChatGPT and like giving it a basic idea of what you do, and then make me explain this to me in like a flowchart state and what this would look like and how make it super detailed is pretty beneficial.
Yeah, I think there's a Daniel Fazio video where he talks about when you're selling a done-for-you service, you want to make the service delivery actually sound as complicated as possible. Yeah. And that's why like the magnum opus, you want it to be super in-depth. Whereas if you're doing done with you, you want to make it seem like, oh, we could just do this together. You got this. Don't even worry about that.
Easy, bro. Yeah. Easy, no, 100%. That's like what Dan says, the term you coined, like logistical intensity. The more logistical intensity you can take away from the client, the more they'll pay you. So you want to really highlight how much is involved in what you do and how much intense it is.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed online is many people are doing these like Miro board or Figma diagram content where they're just like talking through like a client acquisition funnel or something of that nature. Why do you think that that's a trend? And do you think that's a good approach? Because I know you're a content guy as well.
Yeah, so you can thank Matthew Larson for that, the G himself. Matthew is an incredible dude, really, really good at what he does. And I think he honestly started that trend. And the reason for it is really smart, which is that all those like Miro boards, like all the flowcharts, they're all lead magnets as well. So you can use them for dual purpose. You can essentially make a lead magnet that is like super detailed. Say you're doing email marketing for e-com brands and you want to show them exactly what your process looks like, what your design process looks like, the results you get, why that works. You do that as a whole lead magnet. Then you record a video just going through the lead magnet. Then you've got a video and the lead magnet itself already done. So that lead magnet can go up on your website, or it can be done as a Twitter giveaway or something. And then you've got the video as well that goes up on your YouTube channel or your Instagram, stuff like that. It's a really smart way of doing it.
Now it makes sense if you're doing the Twitter giveaway, right? Because it's, DM me like this word or comment this word and I'll send it to you. But if you're doing a website, granted that you are the landing page person, would you spin up a website that just has like a basic intake and like a video embed? Or
100%? I actually think that's a really good way to do it. I think that I've seen those being done with Twitter giveaways too. So as in like, you'll like or retweet whatever, and then they email you a link to like a card page or something, and the card page has got like an email sign up, and it's like you put the email in, then they email you the lead magnet. And it's just a way to just grow your mailing list, which is like super like high ROI, because you can spin up like, I think Beehive offers like 1,000 contacts for free, and like it's got pretty much like its full features all for free. And then you can just you've got a whole like list of people then that you are just constantly emailing and reminding you exist and reminding them of your offer and just showing your results and kind of establishing your authority. And email lists are like a super, super easy way to do that. And then also newsletters themselves can be valuable in and of itself. There's something that you can actually sell later on once you've grown to a certain size. That was something else actually Matthew Larson did. He did a newsletter for every single city in Canada, and he sold those for quite a bit because he was like running them for a long time, just giving basic updates on things to do in Calgary, things to do in Toronto, all this sort of stuff. And he was like, you can sell ad space on them. There's a lot you can do with it, but yeah, it's the main benefit for kind of what you're doing if you're running an agency is going to be that you're going to be getting a list of people that are interested in what you do, that you can kind of remind constantly who you are and kind of establish yourself as like an authority in the space and develop your personal brand and drive some leads.
Yeah, there was an interesting guy that I interviewed, Stephen G. Pope. He has like an automated content system. What he did was all of his lead magnets lived within his school community. So it would be constant reminders to come back into the school community. And then he would put everyone in the email list. So like they'd be like recycled to try to get people. Because the one problem if you have like a Google Doc, right, is they're not tied to any other contact point with you. Yeah. They're no longer invested in you unless they really love that lead magnet. I just found that to be a very interesting approach.
100%. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I totally agree. I think your lead magnets should always be behind some sort of, not a paywall, but like some sort of way to capture their kind of information. I mean, you give them as a Google Doc, they're just gonna file, make a copy, like, and that's theirs now. They never have to go back to your stuff again. Just got all the information there. So yeah, I think definitely every lead magnet you do should have some sort of way of capturing like an email address or some details about the person for sure.
Yeah, and I know one thing about you is in CA you have this guide for like an automated content system. Could you talk a little bit about your approach to content and then how you're using these AI tools to expedite your content
For
creation?
sure. So I think that like people shy away from doing content, right? And they it's for two reasons. Either one, they don't see the value; they just think it's a nice to have sort of thing. They're like, well, I don't really care about being YouTube famous, which is like it's probably not going to happen either way for you. Like it's very tough to do that. But and the other one is that they're scared. They're scared to like get in front of the camera. They don't have the time to write a script. They don't know how to deliver it. They don't have like the equipment, all this sort of stuff. So I wrote this guide that basically breaks down the easiest way, in my opinion, to make content. It's how to write scripts, how to write short form videos, how to record with like even just your phone, and like kind of make it as easy as possible to kind of get started and get going. Personally, like my kind of content system works is, again, I love AI. I've got a bunch of prompts. I've got a Claude project hyper trained on tons of YouTube scripts and styles and ideas and stuff. And I use that to help me kind of get the basic idea. It doesn't give me the full script, but it kind of gives me like the intro, it gives me the kind of bullet points, what to cover, and then kind of the outro. And I use that then to kind of like usually when I'm actually recording a video, I'm doing something at the same time. Often I'm going through something, or I'm explaining something, or I'm showing something on screen. And I kind of just followed the kind of basic format of the script, look at the bullet points, make sure I hit everything, just go through it, record it. Afterwards, then I edit usually with Descript. Descript is great because Descript is a tool that allows you to actually edit video with like a script. It'll like transcribe your audio, and then you can just delete filler words, delete ums and ahs. You can cut out sections you don't like by deleting text, and then you've got pretty much a video ready to go. If you want to add some stuff to it, you want to bring it into CapCut or into Premiere and start adding transitions and stuff, you can, but it's really not necessary. Like the videos I've seen that have absolutely crushed it are often literally just Loom recordings of people going through like their process or something. And the real aim with these, again, is not to be YouTube famous. The real aim is to generate leads, which can be like Matt Lucero, for instance, has got a YouTube channel, averages I think about 2K views per video, but like he's had videos that have had maybe 300 views that have made him like $6,000. Because the right person saw it, it addressed their pain points, it establishes authority. It just followed all the things that they needed in order to see Matt as like someone that can help solve their problem. But the system I've developed, it's just kind of a guide that goes over the very basics of creating content and how to do it. Everything from writing scripts to recording to delivery to hiring editors if you want to go over like a super kind of produce sort of look to it. And that's kind of the basic idea behind it.
Yeah, you mentioned Claude there, and I'm curious because I know in ChatGPT you can train custom GPTs. I don't know if you train them on specific people to make those, or can you do the same thing in Claude? Like, talk us a little bit about how you use that AI. Like, are you just having like really long chat threads? Or are you training custom models?
So I absolutely love AI. I use AI like every single day. I've used AI to code apps to use AI better, and I cannot code for shit. But I can. There's some great tools out there like Claude. There's an actual code editor called Cursor that allows you to like literally like type in like make me an app that does this, and like you can literally it'll help you build it out. Like it's incredible. But how I use AI most of the time is for natural sounding writing. I find Claude to be much better. So ChatGPT is really good, I find, for information, systems, processes, research. It's really good for research because it can search the web. So you can like give me like go to ChatGPT and be like give me and issues that women in their 30s are facing in relation to skincare, and it'll give you like a bunch of information. You can tell it to search the web for it and get as much detailed information as possible. And then usually I take that and I go to Claude. Claude doesn't let you make custom GPTs, but it does let you make what they call a project, which essentially is like you can load it up with docs and information. And the big thing about AI is that the information you train it on is going to determine the outputs. The inputs determine the outputs, right? So if you just say to a Claude with no training at all, write me a YouTube script, you're going to get one of these like, super cringe, hey guys, welcome back to my channel, today, like it's just like really bad. But if you go and you get a bunch of like YouTube scripts or YouTube transcriptions just directly from YouTube and save them as like documents or PDFs, upload like 10 of them to Claude and go, these are examples of really, really good YouTube scripts. I want you to analyze them, tell me why they work, look at what they do. And then you go, okay, now from now on, you're going to write YouTube scripts in this style. You're going to help me generate ideas. And then you just prompt it for like, give me 10 ideas to do with X. You tell it about you, tell about your offer, tell it about what you do, about who your ICP is, your unique selling point, your client's potential pain points, all these things. And then tell it, give me like 10 ideas. Then it'll go, yeah, here's like idea 1 to 10. You go, I like idea number 3, write a script for it. It should then kind of reference back to the original YouTube scripts and write you something in a similar manner that will hopefully get you like 90% of the way there. And you just have to do a bit of editing around it. But overall, I that's kind of how I use AI. I use AI for like tons of stuff. Even like when I'm making like static ads for clients, you can paste images into like Claude and ChatGPT, and they'll recognize images. So I'll find an ad I like, and I like the format of it, and I'll paste it into Claude and go rewrite this for this brand. This brand's product does X, Y, Z. I tell it that it's an expert e-commerce copywriter that is run awards for writing high converting, emotionally resonant copy, and you kind of give it the persona that it's going to go off of, and then give it all that, and then you get usually really good stuff out of it.
Absolutely. Now, real quick, because I want to talk about your company as well. Talk a little bit about what you're doing at Innovative and like what ultimately is like your vertical. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
For sure. So we work with e-com brands. Lately, actually, we've worked with a lot of what I refer to as like e-com holding companies. So like people that have maybe 5 or 6 brands under kind of the one umbrella that they're running for in different niches. And essentially, we are kind of like a full service e-com kind of growth agency. So we focus mainly on CRO and email. There are 2 main things. So we kind of look at your current product pages, see what can be improved. Oftentimes, we'll build just an entire new page. A lot of people out there are still crushing it with like basic just default Shopify product pages, and if you then upgrade that to like a custom made replica page that is like following a high converting format that with copy that's actually focused towards your ICP, the results are incredible. So we do that. We build out full pages, we write advertorials, we do home pages, landing pages, custom funnels as well. And then on the email side of things, I'm just gonna cough. On the email side of things, we do full service Klaviyo marketing. So we will go in and either, if you have an existing Klaviyo setup, we'll do a full audit, tell you what can be improved, what we can change around. We do all new email designs, email copy, everything. And then we really focus heavily on just kind of like the optimization of that. Then we offer a few other things along with that in order to try and kind of improve results even further. So things like static ads, we do create static ads. Our kind of main selling point with that is the fact that most of our ads are AI generated, as in we only need like 1 photo of your product, and then we can put it in multiple scenes, influencers' hands, like anything you need. And we make ads that tend to outperform currently existing statics, because a lot of people I find in the e-commerce space tend to just upload a product photo with some copy underneath, and that's it. But we tried to really focus on making stuff that actually both looks really nice and converts really highly.
Absolutely. Well, now let's get into some of the rapid fire questions while we only have a few minutes left. Let's talk about, if you could only recommend one business book to somebody, what would you recommend?
Personally, I think every single business needs copywriting. The Copywriting Handbook is the first book that I read related to really how to write for a business. I know it's not like more so an overall business book, but I think that just learning that one skill is going to be super beneficial. And just reading through how it works it'll teach you about, like, if you're reading about how to write copy for websites, how to write copy for VSLs, how to write copy for emails, it's going to give you an insight into how those different businesses work and like why you're writing in this sort of way for each of them. So I think that the one skill you can learn that will be super beneficial and will teach you the most about business is copywriting. So I would recommend the Copywriter's Handbook. It's on like volume 4 now. It's like $15 on Amazon. It's like absolutely my go-to for anything related to that.
Your go-to YouTube channel?
Aside from my own, it will be probably Fazio's, Daniel Fazio's YouTube channel is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I love Fazio's too. Okay, so let's do, everyone forgot about Lucas. Somehow you lost your client Ascension job. You just got wiped off the face, no brand, no anything. How'd you go about, you take all the knowledge with you. How'd you go about rebuilding what you have in the next 30 days?
I would cold DMs. I would start an offer. I would make a very basic landing page as quickly as possible, probably around the idea of if I was speaking like the one thing that I said I could do like very well entirely 100% myself with no team, nothing to back me up, it would be landing pages is something I just know very well. And I would cold DM absolutely everyone who I thought had on Twitter, on Instagram, who I thought had a poor landing page, offer a free redesign, a free audit, and I would just make them a new landing page and start off charging small, be like $500. I'll do everything, or I'll do everything, and then just go from there.
Perfect. Well, I'm sure people are interested in learning more about what you got going on at Innovative, what you got going on at CA. So feel free to call out any social media you have, any kind of links people should look for you on.
Yeah, Twitter at Copyline Killer. That's where I'm most active. TikTok, Copyline Killer, Instagram, copyline.killer, because someone got the goddamn first one. But then my website, innovative.io, inovativ.io. That is all my stuff, really. That's where you can find me.
Awesome. Lucas, thank you so much for coming on here. And to everyone else listening, get back to growing your agency.
100%.